Hi, Pam. Hello, Diane and Michelle. Thanks for accommodating me with the time change today. I don't have a good excuse except that I live in the moment and I get very involved in my work and I don't always pay attention to the time. So I was packaging my latest class to go, Peaceful Cabin, and it's the biggest class I've had so far, so I'm excited about that. And it was really fun packaging and labeling them for shipping because I have several new people who purchased my class to go, and I am sending these all over the country. I'm sending them right here in Ohio, and one is even going to North Olmsted, Ohio, which I have a strong connection with because I grew up right by there, and my dad retired from his teaching career at North Olmsted High School. And I've got sending some to Florida, California, Oregon, Alabama, Louisiana, Michigan, and even as far as Anchorage, Alaska. So I got caught up working on that, and I just finished and I moved right on to the next thing on my list and didn't pay any attention to prepping my things for today's Facebook Live. So that's what the delay was today. Welcome to Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. I'm so happy you're here, and I hope you've had a great week. And I'm hoping that today's Facebook Friday, Funfold Friday, Facebook Live, is something that will inspire you to do some creating and maybe perhaps try a new Funfold card this weekend. I'm going to flip my camera around and we will get started right away. While I'm doing that, please share this live video and invite others to join in the creative fun this afternoon. As you can see, today's project features the In Symmetry stamp set from our annual catalog, and it also uses some of the Sweet Symmetry Designer Series papers. This I kind of think is sort of like, I'd say like a folk style, folk art style of design and colors and paper. So let me just show you these really quick. Here's all the fun, bright patterns on one side. And then the opposite side has patterns that are more subtle, and we've got tone on tone, so it creates more of a background look for our cards and paper crafts. So really fun, versatile. All right, and today's Facebook Live, oh, Julie says that is her favorite. Wonderful. I haven't used it for several months, so I thought I'd pull it out today. Today's Facebook Live features a Funfold, a new Funfold to me, new to me Funfold card, and it's the Z-Fold Slit card. Ordinarily, this is how we make a Z-Fold card, as I'm sure you're probably familiar with, but this has a slightly different take in that we cut a slit from the fold to that center Z-fold, and we're going to push that through, and now we have a totally different variation on our Z-fold card. So let me show you right now how to do that. And I'm actually going to make two cards with you today, and they both are, let me pull this a little closer. They both are going to use the Z-fold slit style Funfold. However, I'm going to make the second one just slightly different. The first one is just a little bit easier, but when I show you the second one, you'll understand why I want to show you that one as well. So here's the first card we're going to make with our In Symmetry stamp set and Sweet Symmetry Designer Series paper. So I have all my pieces here. I'm starting with a basic size card base, standard size card base, 5.5 by 8.5, and I will score it at 4 1/4 on the long side, just like we do for most of our cards. But then I'm also going to score it at 2 1/8 inches, okay? 2 1/8. Oops, almost cut it there. All right. And that 2 1/8 is, and we're just going to ignore that little slit Mary made there. Actually, we can use this for the second one. No, I'm going to keep using it. Okay, so I have this. So that's typically our Z-fold card, right? So now what I'm going to do is open or close this flap back up, and I'm going to turn so I have my fold at the top of my paper trimmer. Getting glare there on my trimmer. And I'm going to go over to 2 1/8. You could really make this any size you want, but I did it 2 1/8 because of how I will be cutting my Designer Series paper. And you're going to cut through both layers, front and back, until you get to that score line. And remember, if you have the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer, there are these engraved lines on each side of the cutting blade holder, and that tells you when you're lined up with that fold. So pay attention to those. Set that aside. So now this is what I have. So we're going to make one more score line right here, and then we will be ready to push that center fold out. I have to think which way I'm scoring here. Okay, turn it this way. And we're going to score at 2 1/8 inch from that top to that cutting line, to that slit. Okay. So here's the next scoring line I just made. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to push that small part at the bottom out. And this is what it should look like from the top. This is what it looks like from the front. Okay, so we have this portion sticking out, and that's along the bottom. When you insert it in an envelope, you're basically going to put it in just like this. Okay, and it'll stand up, something people can show off, show off the card you sent them. So let's continue on here. Oh, I did something wrong. Shoot, that's okay. All right, I really should have, I meant to put this on before. And I'll show you why I wanted to do it before. This piece of Designer Series paper measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And actually, it's okay if we do it this way. But I want to go through, cut on that same slit, and go through that Designer Series paper. So now when I fold this, I've got some of that Designer Series paper on this part. All right, let me show you my sample again. Okay, so this is where we are. And like I just said, I really should have put the Designer Series paper on before I cut the slit, but if you forget like I just did, no problem, you can still do it afterwards. So now I want to finish up the other parts of the card. I have a coordinating piece of Designer Series paper. This one measures 2 inches by 5 3/8. 2 inches by 5 3/8. And in a few days, I will have this Facebook Live demonstration posted to my blog, and all of the cutting dimensions can be found there. Then I also cut a 2-inch square out of another coordinating piece of paper. This one uses that beautiful Just Jade green. I've got 2 pieces of basic white on this one, which measures 3 1/4 by 2 inches. I'm going to add a sentiment. And we'll make this one a thank you card. Let me put this over here too. Got everything in my way. Oh, I see so many of you on here. Thank you so much for spending part of your Friday with me. And I'm going to add a little heart on this one too, just because. And so I can go ahead and add this to my card base. Now, some people will say, I love this because I don't have to write a lot. I can write, whatever, to Joan, love Mary, my sister, something like that. If you want to write more, what I would do is just, and again, you can put a piece of white, basic white cardstock right here. You can cover it this way, but then you'll have to cut through that. So I would say maybe just do a rectangle of white cardstock there, or you could do it right here. Either way, you're still going to have plenty of room to write a message if you like. So the last step of this card is to embellish it with a pretty in Symmetry flower. I'm going to be stamping with Just Jade and Flirty Flamingo. First, I like to stamp when I'm making these flowers. Not picking up much ink on that. I like to start by stamping the stem. Then I'm going to stamp the leaves. And then lastly, I'm going to stamp the flower bloom. And as I said, I am making 2 cards today. So be sure and watch all the, whoops, I got some green on there somehow. Be sure to watch all the way to the end. We might have to put pearl over that, I think. And I think we will, because I just smudged it. I think I've got some green on my fingers. Be sure to watch all the way to the end, because I will give you a I don't know, a fun word or to comment, to type in the comments, and then your name will be put into the drawing to win the cards I make today. Can you see the difference in the flower on my first card, the sample card, versus this one? Look at what a difference. Oh, where did my scrap paper go? Here it is. Look at what a difference it makes to do a little fussy cutting and pop up the flower bloom and the leaves. So I'm just going to do this quickly. I know some of you don't mind fussy cutting. I actually find it pretty relaxing. I don't do it if I'm, stamping, I need 100 cards or something like that. But I really don't mind it, especially something like this where the shapes are so easy to cut. And when I fussy cut, most often I leave just a little bit of white around the image. And I guess there's no right or wrong way if you want to cut right on the image, the edge of the image, or if you want to leave a little white. For me, I just find it's easier for me to cut this way because I can see the entire image. Whereas if I'm cutting on it, sometimes I go off in one direction or cut too much into the image. And you can see that didn't take very long at all, did it? So now I will pop these onto my card using some mini dimensionals. Oops, wrong end. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Here's, I don't always, well, darn, it's sticking to my fingers. I don't always use my piercing tool to pick up these little bits, but I noticed that when I have my nails done and my fingernails are a little bit thick, sometimes it can be hard to pull those up. So I just use my take your pick tool as a little aid. If you want to jazz this up even more, pull out your Wink of Stella and add a little shimmer to that flower. What do you think? Should I add the Wink of Stella to the leaves also, or just the flower? On the first one, I did it just on the flower. Let's go all in and do the leaves as well, and even the stem. There, pretty. And finally, I'm going to add some pearl embellishments. Where did they go? Here they are. And I'm actually going to use a pearl right up there to hide that little smudge. I think I'll put another one right there. And I'll add a few more. Up here at the top. There, what do you think? Becky, thanks so much for jumping on, and thank you for sharing. Oh, okay. Maria said use the Wink of Stella on the leaves too. She loves Wink of Stella. Awesome. All right, so what do you think? Okay, we're going to make a second card. All right, so here's the first one. And it's basically going to stand out as being the same. Oh, there's my daughter jumped on. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Kathy, Sheely, Michelle. Oh gosh, I have so many people on here. Tina, Melinda, Sharon, Julie. Who else did I miss? Mary Lou, Diane, Pam. Oh, you guys are awesome. I'm so glad you're here. All right, this time we're going to make the same Z-fold split card, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. I want my designer series paper on this whole front across without necessarily having that split in the middle. So I'm going to show you now how I did that. It's a little bit more tricky, but I kind of like it because if I'm doing a large focal point on the card instead of the smaller focal point, like here, it just makes this base a little bit more sturdy. So that's the reason I'm going to show you this different way. Hello, Michelle from Naples, Florida. Oh, I bet it's beautiful there. I will be in Sarasota next month. I think the 10th through the 15th, I think. I'm going to visit my upline and we're going to do the Stampin' Up! On Stage virtual event together. Once again, for this card, I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock cut to 5.5 by 7.5. And, whoops, score at 4 1/4 on the long side. And then I'm going to score at 2 1/8. 2 1/8. Okay. So this is the start of my Z-fold card. I'm going to go ahead and put some designer series paper on the card base. And what I need you to really pay attention to for this part is where I'm putting my adhesive. So on that inside piece, it'll work just fine if you put a piece in each corner. 1, 2, 3, 4 corners, okay? On this one, I'm only going to have it in this L shape. So I don't want to put adhesive on this part. So I'm going to, and I have to think about this carefully when I do it. So I'm kind of doing a backwards L, I'll say. All right, so do you see my backwards L where I put the adhesive? And I don't have any adhesive here. I'm going to press that down. And now, after I have these on, I'm going to make this slit. Now, because we have 2 thicknesses of the cardstock and 2 thicknesses of the designer series paper, you might have to go back and forth a couple of times with your cutting blade. And maybe even press down a little bit harder on it than you normally do. But I'm going to cut straight to that score line I made. Again, use those indented lines on the holder of your cutting blade to tell you when your cutting blade has met up with the score line on your cardstock. Oh, and that cut pretty well. All right, now before I do any more, open this up and show you what it's like, I need to create or to score that additional line. So I want to make sure I'm doing this in the correct place. Yes. So I want to score 2 1/4 or 2 1/8 inch over from the fold, 2 1/8 inch from the fold. So my daughter Andrea that's jumped on, she's the one that's engaged. So I'm excited. This weekend I'm going to start doing some work on her wedding invitation. So I'm excited about that. I think we're going to be using the Forever Fern suite, but or bundle. But I've also ordered the, I believe it's called Eden's Garden which you will be able to order starting November 2nd, and it will be in our mini catalog come January. But I might be interested in using that too. Okay, so now I have this other piece right here. And if you wanted, you could do it just like that. Actually, maybe I will. But that's where I would normally put my white piece, correct? So you could either do it like this and put your... Actually, let's do it that way. We don't need to cut it away. You can see on this one, I actually cut that away and put a piece of white. But we don't have to. We can actually do it this way. It's your preference, okay? I just like to show you different, well, come on. I like to show you different ways so that you can decide what you like best. All right, so there I just have the white with my little message. But here I can do this differently. This time I'm going to stamp my message on white, and then I'm going to punch it out. All right, now one thing, if you're planning on punching, yes, it is in Symmetry, Pam. It is the in Symmetry stamp set and the Sweet Symmetry Designer Series paper. Something I like to do is just place my stamp on top of the punch I intend to use and make sure it fits. Here's another one. I think I'm going to go with this one because it leaves a little bit more room around the sentiment. Okay, and this time my coordinating color is Calypso Coral. On the first card we use Flirty Flamingo. This one is Calypso Coral. And then this is our, let me think, Label Me Fancy punch. Label Me Fancy. And I'm just going to put that right there. This will be one of the cards I'm giving away today. You know, Becky, that is easy to do, especially if nobody's ever told you or shown you those little indented lines on each side of your plastic blade holder. But like you said, you just keep practicing and you'll get it. It gets easier and easier. Another tip I'm going to give you for that, Becky, is look over the top when you're cutting that way so that you're not looking at an angle. Because if you're looking at it this way, that changes how you see it and where you see the line. If you look up over the top, it's a little bit easier. Becky's saying, and I just thought of this right now, or Katie said, the lines are hard to see. And, oh, where is it? I'm looking for my, If you have a chalk marker, you can do this. Can you see that line a little bit better right now? I'll hold it up close. Can you see those indented lines a little bit better when I put the white chalk marker there? You see that dark line in the midst of the white chalk marker? That may help you as well, okay? All right, getting back to our card. So now I have this. I want to make a nice big focal point for this card, and I need to cut another piece of white, and that one is going to measure, this measures 4 by 2 3/4. Let me double check. Yes, 4 by 2 3/4. So I'm going to cut one just a little bit smaller, and it will be 3 7/8 by 2 5/8, so that it has the same size border around it as the DSP on the rest of my card. All right. Okay, this is what I did on this card. I'm going to once again start by stamping the stem. Remember, these are, this is a photopolymer stamp set. So if you don't have a mat like I do on my desktop, because there is a tiny bit of give to it. If you don't have something like that, use a mouse pad or our Stampin', what do I want to say? Stampin' Pierce mat. This is $5 in the annual catalog. It is well worth the $5. You do get better stamped impressions, especially on the stamps that have, are pretty solid. So for example, like this is a pretty solid stamp. This is pretty solid. That is. You'll get better impressions with your photopolymer stamps if you use something that has a little give, a little cushion. All right. And like I said, my desktop already has that. But I like to pull this out as a reminder for all of you. I'm going to, I want to stamp my leaves. I like to give you these helpful tips as I go along, but then sometimes I lose track of where I am in the demonstration. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this on the Calypso Coral layer. Once again, you want to pay attention to where you're putting your adhesive, okay? Kind of that L shape. So on the back side, it's going to be a backwards L. Well, come on, what's with my adhesive all of a sudden? All right, now I did not stamp my flowers on that main piece because like on this first one, I'm going to stamp 3 and then I'm going to fussy cut them. So once again, I'm stamping with Calypso Coral. And then I will quickly just cut these out. How many of you have the Symmetry stamp set and or the Sweet Symmetry Designer Series paper? Both of these are from the annual catalog. So I got mine when the catalog first came out last, spring, late spring, early summer. But I really have not worked with it, either of these products, in several months. So it's kind of fun to get these out again. Also because it's a cold gray day in central Ohio. So the bright colors are nice, especially more appreciated even on a gray day. And sometimes it's nice, we get caught up in making all our Christmas cards, and perhaps some of you are even making handmade Christmas presents. Sometimes we get so caught up in the holidays with our crafting that sometimes it's nice to just step away and make other cards and paper crafts. Diane says she hasn't. It would be nice to have matching dies. I guess we're getting spoiled because so many of our stamp sets do have coordinating dies now. When I joined, they were just introducing dies, and they were those big heavy ones on the wood, the thick wood. But like I said, this set is okay for some fussy cutting because it's pretty quick and easy to do. And I'm going to add these. Oh, Beth says she has it too. Yeah, Pam, remember those? And I used to cart those boxes of those big dies to my creative escape weekends and let people borrow them. Your back can only take so much of that. So I kind of had to stop doing that for that reason in particular. But it is always nice to be able to share with others. Oops, I'm going to lower the center one. There we go. And then we'll just add some pearls to those centers for a final embellishment or a final addition to our card. All right. What do you think? Now remember, if you want to do some writing, what I would do is just put a piece of white here. Let's measure that out and see what it would be. So I would say, basically like maybe like a 3 1/4 by 4 or 3 1/8 by 4. Let's go ahead and do that. And then whoever wins this card won't have to do it themselves when they get ready to send it out. See how easy that is? Also, if you have a personalized stamp that you stamp the back of your cards with, you can add that in one of the squares. Oh, Beth says she appreciates something else besides Christmas cards. Yes. There are so many reasons to send cards. We can't do just Christmas. All right. Now, remember too that I said the reason I did this to extend the DSP with this big L shape and not have that fold or split in the middle makes it a little bit more sturdy when I'm got a larger focal point on my Z Fold Slit card. But here are the others. Oh, this one's my sample. I know that because I put more of the Wink of Stella on this one. So again, you can see it really is the same basic layout, but depending on the size of my focal point, I changed up how I did the cutting and scoring a little bit. Okay. Oh, Pam, these might be great for birthday cards you'll be making this week. All right, what does everybody think? Is this Z-fold slit card something you will try? And do you have a preference? Do you like our first design, or do you like the second one? Any thoughts on that? And again, I used Flirty Flamingo and Calypso Coral as my card bases, two of the coordinating colors in the Sweet Symmetry Designer Series paper pack. Kathleen says she prefers the second one. It would be fun to do with Christmas cards. Okay, this is what I was picturing. You know the Be Jolly. I don't have it because I was working on the other side of the room with it earlier. But I was thinking it would be cute to have some pretty holiday paper, but then that sled and Santa, and maybe when you open it up, have some of those Christmas trees. Oh, I might have to work on that this weekend, do that. People are thinking of you cards for friends that have cancer. Oh, that's a hard one. Becky says she prefers number 2. I prefer it too. And I think it's because I like the navy. I like lots of navy right there. But anyways, if you would like to win one of these cards, I'm going to ask you to type the word symmetry, in the comments now. All right. Go ahead and type the word symmetry in the comments now, and your name will be entered into the drawing to win one of these cards. And you can expect to see this on my blog with the Facebook Live video replay, supply list, cutting dimensions, and close-up photos of the cards sometime next week. All right. Do you have any questions regarding the Fun Fold card today, any of the products I've used, or anything else related to my Stampin' Up! Business? Kathy, did I see that you said you drove by my house this week? I'll have to go scroll back through the comments. Oh, lots of comments. Wow. All right. I think I scrolled pretty quickly, and I don't think I missed any other questions during the live. All right. I'm going to say goodbye. Have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. Make it fun and do something for yourself this week, whether it be making cards or taking a nap or reading a book or taking a ride to enjoy the fall leaves, whatever it is you want to do that gives you happiness. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. I will see you Monday at 11 a.m. I've got a fun project planned for then. Bye-bye.